Today, I'll be reviewing the most requested perfume on my channel ever, The Ghost in the Shell by Etat Libre de Aaaand. Welcome to Smellomania. This is a perfume review channel where I use art and drawings to help me analyze fragrances. Today's video is going to be so exciting. I clearly remember ordering a sample of The Ghost in the Shell when it just came out in 2021. I sprayed it on and didn't think much about it. But I always write down my very first initial thoughts about a fragrance and then put it away for my in-depth analysis. So my very first thought was, it smells like a very wearable Secretions Magnifiques. And that was 3 years ago. So let's dive deep and see what The Ghost in the Shell smells like to me today. I test the fragrance I'm analyzing in every possible situation. I test it on my skin, on clothes, on a blotter. If I have a chance, I even test it in warmer or colder environments. So this time, I sprayed a few ghosts on my arm and headed out to my morning practice. And I was absolutely mesmerized. I was catching the softest, the gentlest whiffs of pastel yellow here and there. I could just end the video right here and right now and say it out loud once again. The Ghost in the Shell smells so much like a pastel yellow color. It's lemony, but so soft, so airy, so ethereal. There's so much puffy and fluffy white mixed into the sour yellow. It's like the most delicate lemon meringue. However, it's not a gourmand scent by any means. It's rather clean and soapy than edible. Oh no, I definitely wouldn't eat anything that smells like this. It even reminded me of some soft, pale yellow hand cream. Or some puffy, soft, yellow pillows. Or even a gentle, elegant ballerina silently fluttering on a big, bright scene. But most of all, The Ghost in the Shell reminded me of that lemon meringue, only it's not edible. And there's no sugar added to it, it just is. A creation made to be observed only. This perfume has an intriguing name, doesn't it? The Ghost in the Shell. And I truly believe that the name is such a huge part of its success because it adds so much more depth to a relatively simple creation. I love anime. I've been always impressed by Japanese culture and can certainly say that their animes truly had a huge impact on me while I was growing up. And The Ghost in the Shell is the name of one extremely popular Japanese franchise that started as a manga. That's what they call their comic books, mangas. And it ended up as an anime movie, anime series, a computer game, and finally a Hollywood movie with Scarlett Johansson as the leading actor. Ghost in the Shell was released in 1995 and even inspired the Wachowskis to create The Matrix. You can see the resemblance. The Ghost in the Shell is about a distant future filled with technology so advanced that people can extend their lives by uploading their consciousness into a fully prosthetic body, thus becoming a cyborg. To put it short, A ghost is a soul, a consciousness, and the shell is a body. The main character, Major Motoko Kusanagi, is a cyborg herself. Her consciousness was transferred from her human body after a terrible accident. And here's the legendary shelling sequence from the original anime. And here's the opening scene from the 2017 movie with Scarlett Johansson. I'm sure that these are the exact scenes that inspired the creation of this perfume. The birth of a perfect synthetic body emerging from this white liquid. And this is the ideal time to tell you about the notes of the perfume. Aqual. This is a synthetic floral aldehydic note. Yuzu. Now here's our yellow citrus. Hexyl acetate, a note which is reminiscent of green apples or pears. Jasmine absolute. Mugane, a synthetic floral note. Milky skin accord. Moss accord. Vinyl guaiacol, a biotechnology molecule smelling of vanilla. And Organox, a synthetic substitute for ambergris. As you can see, the list of notes perfectly captures the idea of an artificial organism. Milky skin and sensual jasmine meet synthetic molecules. Just like Etat Libre Aaaand stated on their website, mixing biotech and natural materials, this perfume silently celebrates the wake of the future. In fact, this perfume is the future, they wrote. The next day, I was so eager to try the perfume once again. I was waiting for that airy and spacious lemon meringue feeling to come back. I was already imagining how I'll be raving about this perfume on YouTube and will be recommending it as something very office and healthcare friendly. But that magical lemony pillow never came back. What came back to me was unacceptable. Fast forward 2 weeks into testing this perfume. What I've learned is that my skin chemistry turns this gentle ghost in the shell into an unhinged poltergeist. It's so much better on a blotter or on a piece of clothing. But I've replicated my very first impression of the fragrance a few times successfully. It turns out that this perfume smelled wonderfully once again when I was working out. Perhaps it loves hot skin and hot air. So beware. The ghost in the shell is very sensitive to your personal skin pH levels and even temperature. It definitely shines brightest in warm weather. So let's get back to that unacceptable smell. Do you know what the ghost in the shell smelled like to me on its bad days? Imagine a glass of fresh milk. Imagine that you left it out on a sunny windowsill for the whole day. It slowly started turning into what's called sour milk. Actually a beloved drink in my country. The top part became watery and white clumpy chunks started to form. The smell turned from softly sweet and lactonic into milky acidic. And now imagine that you took this soured milk and turned it into hairspray. Brand new sour milk hairspray. Really good for your hair. They would definitely say that in their ads. But really, on its bad days, the ghost in the shell smelled like hairspray and sour milk. I found it so fun that people were so captivated by the name of the perfume and the whole baggage it comes with. Perfume lovers all around the web kept talking about cyborg intercourses, android pheromones, robot spores, about newly born artificial humans, perfect humanoid replicas, and synthetic milk, as if they try to copy that perfect human scent and transfer it to a robot. I guarantee that if the perfume was named Fresh Morning, it would have been long forgotten. This is such a good example of brilliant marketing, and that truly stories and ideas sell. For my main drawing, I wanted to pay tribute to the original Ghost in the Shell manga, which was released in around 1989, and draw my final drawing in that dramatic black and white style. I wanted my drawing to reflect the duality that I felt with my very own nose. That perfectly fluffy lemon meringue impression I had the very first time I smelled it, and that sour milk hairspray that developed on my skin over time. In the beginning of the video, I mentioned that the Ghost in the Shell reminds me of a very wearable version of Secretions Magnifiques. I did a video on that fragrance quite some time ago. It's also one of Etat Libre's crazy concoctions. It's all about our humanly magnificent secretions, milk, blood, urine, saliva, you name it. And the Ghost in the Shell truly reminds me of that fragrance in some way, only it represents magnificent, idolized cyborg secretions with surreal lactonic notes and dreamy aldehydes. As you can see, I've been using a quite uncommon method of drawing, a very old school dip pen and ink. Only recently I've learned that all the manga artists traditionally use these same materials for this inking process. I thought that this video would be a perfect opportunity to try out my new art materials. So I drew a cyborg lady who is spraying her hair very generously with some sour cream hairspray, of course. Only what comes out the other way is that perfectly fluffy lemon meringue. This image truly sums up my experience with the Ghost in the Shell, just perfectly. Some artificial sexiness, soured milk, and hairspray, all done in the style of a Japanese manga. I'm so happy with the final result. It turned out so cool. I'm really proud. So thank you so much for staying with me on this wild, ghostly cyberpunk ride. It was so fun for me. Let me know what you would like me to review next, and see you soon. Bye.